Well, it's about damn time. We got this trailer finally. 10 years later, after GTA 5, 2013. The trailer was leaked, which is funny. Of course, the game itself was leaked in an early alpha version, like a year ago or several months ago. I forget when that happened. That was a long time ago. Feels like forever ago. So the game was already leaked in that way. We kind of knew the basic stuff about the characters in this. But, it's about damn time we got this trailer finally. It's been a long time coming. And, so much has changed since then. And, I think it was Dan Houser, or, no, I think it was Sam, actually, that was in an interview. It was a written interview, I remember. I wish I could dig up the article. I'd have to look for it, but, no, I'm too lazy to, frankly. But I remember there was an article where, I think it was Sam Houser, who's the director, and then Dan is the ex-writer. He was like lead writer throughout all these games, and then retired semi-recently. I think it was Sam Houser who said, how do you do the political parody / commentary today? Because shit's just so crazy today. How do you do that, right? Like, how do you do it in a way that works and makes sense? It's like, he was saying, for the next GTA game, we have to be kind of careful how we do it. We have to approach it a different way, maybe. And, that was a long time ago. That quote was pretty old. But the stuff in this game, it's one of the first things that I noticed and something that my friend noticed when we watched this trailer, is, the political commentary of this, like he said, or the political parody, I guess I should say. And maybe this is true with all of the GTAs to some extent, but it feels like here it's less parody and it's more just like, this is real life. This is just kind of how things are now when they're going through the TikTok, Twitter, Instagram live stream section of this. It's kind of funny how things are just like that now. I don't know. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll get there in a minute. Because I'm gonna revisit that topic. But yeah, thinking about this, GTA 5. It's just crazy to think about it. It's a completely different time. 2013 is completely different. That was like 1 year into Obama's second term. And then I think Sam Houser said that quote pretty soon after the 2016 election. And I'm not trying to get all political about things. It's just things have changed, I guess. I feel like a lot of things have changed about the world since that happened. A lot, obviously. That's not even a controversial opinion. For fuck's sake, COVID, So there's so much stuff that is crazy. And how are they going to cover all this? How are they going to talk about all these things? How are they going to approach it in a way that's not too on the nose, I guess? Yeah, it's a tricky thing. So, and they lost Laszlo too. Laszlo's another writer that left, and he's a big deal for all that stuff, the commentary and all that. So, we're going to see how that all pans out here with all that. I think what matters most is the writing of, the story or the plot, but the satire aspect of GTA, it's really important to the identity. And, look, the satire wasn't always perfect before. There's some humor in Grand Theft Auto that doesn't quite land. Of course, it's all subjective, so maybe I should, speak for myself when I say that. But some of the humor didn't land in GTA. I really like the humor in GTA 4. I made my GTA 4 video, but funny enough, I never really talked about the humor in that game. Maybe because I didn't really know what to talk about with that, but I didn't really know what examples to use. But GTA 4, for being as serious as it is, and for being the darkest chapter in the Grand Theft Auto franchise, I really feel like Grand Theft Auto 4 had some of the best humor as well. there's some genuinely funny stuff in Grand Theft Auto 4. I think the funniest is on the internet. When you go on the computer and look at the different websites, there's some really great like early internet humor that holds up, like parodies of the early internet. Back when YouTube was fresh. Like there's some really cool parody stuff there that I think holds up in an interesting way as a sort of time capsule for 2008. So how did they handle it here? Yeah, writing comedy can be hard. When comedy's bad, it's really bad. Like when comedy doesn't land, man, I mean, like the most offensive joke that you could possibly tell is a bad joke. That's what people say. Like, people have a high tolerance for a lot of offensive jokes at the end of the day. I mean, people will bitch about a joke that's offensive, but, if it made you laugh, it made you laugh, no matter how offensive it was. Like, if it worked, it worked. And, people will, political, as much as, like, political correctness is a thing or whatever, and people are sensitive about things, really, if you have a great joke that lands, it can work. You can make almost anything work. That's what a lot of comedians say. A lot of stand-up comedians say that, swear by that. So, if you have bad jokes that don't land, that's going to be a real problem here. So, I guess the first thing I'll talk about relating to this game is people piece together a lot of the leaks, like a lot of the information that they've received from leaks, and how much of it is reliable, how much of it isn't. We don't really know, but we do know that. Well, I mean, if you use common sense, of course, you think about this. This map has to be big. I mean, it's just always going to be the bigger the better in these games. They have to find a way to, if not one up Grand Theft Auto 5, they need to match it in some form. So we're not just going to get Miami. We're going to get a large part of Florida. And so because of that, we're going to get a really cool map. So people have speculated about the leaks and put together different like it's like a speculative map. Like they made like a fake GTA 6 map speculating about like different things about the leaks and forming it together. And here we see a sort of it's not exactly Key West, but it's going to be something like that, like that kind of that part of Florida, those kinds of like the little islands that are piecing off from the continent. That's going to be really interesting to explore, especially by boat and by plane and all that. This map is going to be really interesting, and I'm really, really excited to see it. Some people were speculating that, like, there's going to be whole other cities. Like, on the speculative map that I saw, it almost looked like Tampa Bay, like St. Petersburg, like Tampa Bay, which is really cool. Now, I don't know if they're going to go that far. Like, they can't really, like, obviously, but, like, in a way that makes sense. But, San Andreas did it, of course. They like, the original GTA San Andreas had San Francisco and LA and Las Vegas. So, I don't know if they're going to go that far with it, but that would be awesome if they did. That would be really cool if they had Tampa Bay as well as Miami. And, maybe we'll see that. I don't know. So, that's all food for thought. That's all good, speculation there. The city itself, I have to say, looking at this, I'm so happy to be back in Vice City because, of course, we've gotten, with the HD era, we got GTA 4, we got New York, we got San Andreas. Vice City's like the only one that's missing. So, of course, we have a few others that are missing. Like we have San Francisco and we have Las Vegas. We do have those missing, and maybe they'll visit those in the next ones. I don't know. Instead of going back to New York, I have to say, as far as going back to Liberty City goes, I like that GTA 4 sort of claims Liberty City. I kind of want New York to belong to GTA 4 because obviously I'm biased. I love 4. And 4 represents such an important time in history. Being in 2008, right around the economic collapse, right where it is, and like, the way crime is kind of it's basically gone in New York by that time, or like, well, not gone completely, but it's really a lot lower than it was. It's kind of fresh after all the Rudy Giuliani stuff was going on, where he was locking up, the mob guys or whatever. It's not that long after that. It's also not long after 9/11. And there's references to terrorism, of course, in GTA 4 right out the gate. They're talking about terrorism. And, I think that specific taste of New York, that flavor of New York in GTA 4 is iconic to Grand Theft Auto 4, and I kind of don't want to let it go. Like, I kind of want GTA 4 to keep New York. Like, I kind of don't want that to be revisited in a way, selfishly, I guess. What I would rather have is I would rather have GTA 4 get remastered in some way. But then again, they've kind of fucked up with that a few times, which is unfortunate. Yeah, but GTA 4, it's such a great, iconic, like I said, taste of New York, and I think how they handled the Mafia in that game was in really good taste, because I know that New York, when it comes to crime in New York, and when it comes to the Mafia in New York, that was all taken care of by that time, like I said about Giuliani and all that, going after those guys. That had already been taken care of by that point. However, and I don't know if this is, I haven't studied the Mafia, really, so I don't really know, but New Jersey, you always hear about New York solving its Mafia problem. You don't hear about New Jersey so much. And, of course, New Jersey's where The Sopranos, I think, is mostly set, right? Unless I'm wrong about that. Never saw The Sopranos. And so I think it's really cool that, like, the last, like, dying remnants of the Mafia in GTA 4 are in New Jersey. I think that's really cool. And, you even see a little taste of that in Max Payne 3, when you have those guys, which I don't know if they're Mafia, but, whatever, those types of Mafia-style punk guys that come in and harass Max at the bar. That's, like, a cool scene, and that's my favorite mission in Max Payne 3. So, and GTA 4 had, like, the Jamaican crime family and stuff like that. So, the question is, like, how are we going to deal with this in this one? Like, where do we go in Vice City? Because, you contrast this with New York. New York in the 60s and in the 70s especially had real crime problems, real just, like horrifying problems. I mean, like, I remember, seeing, I think it was when the New York Yankees won one of the World Series games in New York. The fans just flooded the stadium, and Reggie Jackson was on the New York Yankees, and he just booked it. Like, and before he booked it, they had to give him, like, a helmet, like a batter's helmet out there, because random knuckleheads were just chucking, like, beer cans at him. Like, Yankees fans were, like, chucking beer cans at him on the field. And it's hilarious, and it's like, can I get a helmet out here? And he's got the helmet. And then when the fans just charge the stadium, because it's just lawlessness, it's just pure chaos, he takes off his helmet and he runs with it like a football and, like, jumps into the dugout, and he literally pushes a guy out of the way like a football player. Like running to score a touchdown. It's hilarious. And that's just, that's a part of baseball culture that used to be horrible, because that didn't just happen in New York, that happened to other stadiums. But to me, that's always been, like, what I think of when I think of, like, New York 70s hell is that. I think of that scene at that baseball game. And I also think of the Joker movie. I think of Taxi Driver. I think of that New York. That iconic fucked New York. I also think of Watchmen, the comic book and the movie, for doing that really well, kind of capturing that. Now, what about Miami? See, that's why I'm bringing this up, because of Miami. What do you think of Miami? You think of Scarface. You think of Tony Montana. You think of the cocaine, the Colombians, the Cubans. You think of all that stuff. Nowadays, I don't know so much how much that's really a thing, I guess. But what I do associate with Miami, and of course this is a video game, so it's fictional, so that if they want to bring back, Cuban mafia stuff, like, they can do whatever they want. It's their playground. It's their exaggerated universe, so they could do whatever if they want to do, like, Cuban mob or cartel, or they could do whatever they want. But one thing I do associate with contemporary Miami is just the sort of sexed up nature of it. And we see that in this trailer with the girls twerking on the car, and with just kind of the the TikTok montage, the Twitter, Instagram live feed, or Instagram live stream montage. Like, you see that here in this trailer of the sexed up stuff. And so I wonder, is there going to be like a lot of pimp stuff going on in this? That is like a dark side to sex work in real life, is the organized crime element of it. With I don't know, like Romanian or Albanian, or I don't know which. That's more of a European thing, though. That's not so much in the United States, but like the sex slave, like cam girls and stuff like that. I wonder if they're going to deal with that here in some level. On some level, I don't know. It's, speculative. I don't know. I mean, that sort of thing probably isn't happening in Miami, so it might be a bit of an exaggeration, but that's an aspect to Miami, is that it's a very, like I said, sexed up. It's like Vegas almost, This is gonna be kind of like Vegas, this whole thing. So yeah, speaking of the TikTok live stream whatever thing, like that's what I'm talking about when I said, like, I was talking to my friend, and it's like, well, what kind of stuff are they going to parody? It's like, well, this here, right here, it's right on the nose. It's the Karen thing. It's the thing where it's like, they record an old white woman that, is lost the will to give a fuck anymore and is yelling at some guy over nothing, or yelling at somebody over something, and then says something racially insensitive. Like, that's what we got right here. Neighborhood watch, don't play around in Hamlet says, so we got that kind of thing. And of course we got this, and, Florida. I don't live in Florida. I have some friends that used to live in Florida. I don't know how much it's really changed as a state, or how much it's just the same. Of course, there's all these stereotypes of, like, crazy people in Florida and people killing people. And we get a little bit of that here. Like, only in Leonida is a crotch grab an apology for bad driving. So, like, they're General Custard Cannon. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, so, you got the crazy guy or whatever. And, you have a lot of culture in Florida. You have a little bit of a clash. And it's interesting, you have a lot of Cuban people that were fleeing communism. And a lot of them are more conservative, actually. But, I don't want to generalize everybody. And then you have, like, a sort of typical city, which most cities are kind of more left-wing. Pretty much all cities in the United States are. And then you have, like, the sort of backwater side, Florida is the South, technically. So you have that. So you kind of have this culture clash, I guess. And then you add that with the sexed up nature of Miami, and the sort of theme park nature of it, and you get an interesting combination. So I wonder, with Fallout, with Bethesda, they would always send scouts out to examine an area, kind of probably live in an area. I know Obsidian also did this when they went to Vegas for Fallout New Vegas. So, like, they send developers out, and, like, artists and probably writers too, to kind of live out there for a little bit, to get a feeling for the area. And, I wonder if any Rockstar employees have gone out there and gotten a little taste of the culture in Florida to see what it's like. It's a very interesting state, It's a state that, it's a swing state. It flips blue, it flips red, it's a crazy culture clash. So that's going to be interesting to see. For all that. So, they got a lot going on with that, with the cultural commentary and what they're going to do there. And I hope it's good, and I hope it's not cringe, and I hope it's, like, well made. So relating to the characters, I got to talk about the characters. Truthfully, I haven't looked up the leaks too much. I've seen a little bit about the leaks. Honestly, I don't really remember too much about the leaks. And I don't want to spoil things as well, I guess, if I, in theory, could or did or would. I I don't know. I don't know anything, so it's like, or I don't remember any of the spoilers or any of the leaks really. So I'm gonna be talking mostly about the woman in this trailer because the man guy, the guy here, I don't know much about him. I feel like I get a little bit more of a sense from the chick here because the girl reminds me of a character which I'm gonna get to here, but she has this sort of uh she's kind of crazy, right? Like she's sitting up on the chair on the seat here in the driver's seat, and she's kind of going nuts on the thing, and the boyfriend is driving. Assuming this is Lucia, I would assume that it is. There's a few pictures of this girl that I think is Lucia, but I will throw in the disclaimer, maybe it's not Lucia, but I'm like 99% certain that's Lucia, and that's the boyfriend, which I don't know the name of, or I don't remember the name of. He is driving, and she's kind of going nuts there. One thing I wanted to add as well is that in the GTA games, we always have like this really iconic cover art or iconic loading screens of women on these things, and I think it's really cool that this is the first Grand Theft Auto game where we're going to be playing as the Bikini Girl, like on the cover, which I think is cool. Assuming again that this is Lucia. My favorite, personally, I love the girl with the sucker in GTA 4. Like, she's so iconic to me. And I wish that was a character in the game, but that never ended up being a character, which was kind of disappointing. So yeah, we got that kind of character as a playable character, which is cool. Because that's something that we've always had in the past. We've always had this sort of, this image that has been throughout the series, and now we have that as a playable character. That's interesting. What's funny about this one? This looks just like Kate Upton, but Kate Upton never sued them, which is funny to me because Lindsay Lohan did sue them. She did sue Rockstar. Looks nothing like Lindsay Lohan. Looks dead on like Kate Upton, but, whatever. Anyway, so what am I getting to with this character? She reminds me, and this is obvious probably, I don't know how many of you guys, maybe I'm saying something that's like brand new or original here, but I doubt it. Like, I'm sure everybody's saying this shit. Like, I'm sure people on the GTA forums are saying this. I'm sure people online are saying this. But she, to me, especially in this picture here, with the black tank top and the way her hair is done here, in the I don't know if you call that a ponytail, whatever you call that, kind of hair behind. She is dead on for Catalina from San Andreas. And to me, that gets me more excited for the game. Because there's a bit of the franchise roots there. Now, I hope that it doesn't fall into the cliche of Catalina, because Catalina, again, I like that she's again, assuming it's the same character that she's in the bikini, she's the sort of like hot GTA girl type thing, but then she's also a lot like Catalina. I like that it combines these things, because to me it gets me nostalgic, because it reminds me of classic GTA. She reminds me of the Bikini Girls, or the girls on the covers, and she also reminds me of Catalina. Now, the thing is, though, is, like I showed in that previous image, she's going wild in the car, right, in the convertible, and the boyfriend is driving, and I wonder, like, are they gonna go with the cliche or the stereotype that she's, like, kind of she's the fiery, crazy Latina, like, Catalina, she's gonna be a little too wild, and the guy's gonna be like, hey, calm down, and then she's like, woo, like, she's nuts. Like, are they gonna go too far in that direction? And I do worry about that a little bit. But I also like that this is kind of where they're going, but I just hope they don't go too far with it, because, you want nuance, you want, like, good writing. To be honest, those old GTAs were not the best written, I guess. Like, the PS2 ones. Some of them had good writing here and there. I think San Andreas is the best writing from the 3D PS2 era, but it's a little bit too on the nose. Like, if she ends up becoming the villain, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, I'm gonna be really pissed because that's just GTA 3 again. Because Catalina was in San Andreas, and then she betrays CJ and fucks him over, and then ends up with Claude, and then Claude has to kill her at the end, and she becomes the villain. It just almost seems too obvious, right? You have two characters. You have two playable characters in this game. I feel like it's a little bit too obvious that maybe at the end they're going to make you choose between one or the other. Like, you're going to have to kill the man or the woman in this, that they're going to make you choose or something. Or maybe she just becomes a villain and you have to kill her. I hope it's more nuanced. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want just a repeat of Catalina, but on the other hand, I also appreciate the Catalina homage because she's another iconic GTA character, and a lot of these GTA characters end up repeating in a way. You have references to classic characters for sure in all these GTA games. Like, the PS2 games are no longer canon with the HD games, but they like to reference them. And there's little references. Like, there's the reference to the 8-Ball guy that did the bombs on. I think it's on Playboy X's hoodie. You can see the 8-Ball on the back, which is kind of cool. So, like, you have, like, a symbol from old Liberty City from the 3D era. Of course, San Andreas and GTA 5 share a connection. It's often been speculated that Franklin's aunt in it is one of the girls that CJ dated, one of the girls that you can date in San Andreas. If you guys don't know about that, I'd recommend looking that up. That is kind of an interesting theory or whatever. So, like, the connection is there, and we'll see what kind of connections we get. I'm super excited, really, at the end of the day here. I'm really hyped about this. I really hope the game is good. Rockstar, I think, has a lot to prove. The ball's in their court, I know that they don't have a lot to prove when it comes to just their legacy, but they do have a lot to prove in that they lost their lead writer, and they lost Laszlo. So, there's a lot on them right now, and I really hope that they nail this. The trailer, when I first saw it, something about it seemed a little bit off to me, like, graphically in a way. Like, it looks good graphically, but I'm curious if anyone noticed this as well, but to me, when I saw the graphics, it kind of didn't look like a Rockstar game to me. And maybe that's, I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe it's because it's too colorful. I don't know. But when I saw the graphics to this game, it didn't really remind me of Red Dead 2, I guess. It looks pretty different from Red Dead 2. And maybe it's just the post-processing effects. It kind of looks like an ENB mod, if anyone's ever, like, modded Skyrim to put, like, an ENB on it, where you get, like, a shader mod. Like, it almost reminds me of that. Like, it kind of looks like, the game kind of looks like a mod, is what my friend said. And that was kind of being, I guess a little bit on the mean side, the more negative side. But it does look kind of like a mod to me in some ways. But it looks great. I mean, I don't care anymore about graphics. I mean, I just played, I played Baldur's Gate 3, and then I went back and played, like, The Witcher 3 a little bit, and I'm like, The Witcher 3 kind of looks better than Baldur's Gate 3. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't look that great, in some areas. The faces look good, but there's some things about Baldur's Gate 3 that don't quite look right. So, games nowadays look amazing. They all look amazing, pretty much. So graphics don't really matter to me. But it's just something that I wanted to point out, that there's a little bit of a through line, right? Like, obviously, after the PS2 era, it's different, but, or during the PS2 era, it's different. But, it's like GTA 3 to San Andreas, or sorry, GTA 3 to Vice City to San Andreas, there is a similarity in how they look. and of course, like, Bully. And then when you get to GTA 4, there's a little bit of crossover with San Andreas, like, slightly graphically, but overall, GTA 4 looks really different, and GTA 4 is on, like, a real physics engine. But the jump from GTA 4 to, say, Red Dead Redemption, like, you can tell it's on the same engine, you can tell it's the same thing. Even LA Noire, of course, with the facial tech, you can still see it a little bit with the physics. And then when you get to Max Payne 3, you can see the upgraded Rage engine there for sure. And then when you get to GTA 5, you can see the upgrades in the way that, like, GTA 5 looks like an upgraded Max Payne 3. You know, an open world upgraded Max Payne 3. But in some ways, GTA 5 actually looks worse than Max Payne 3. Because Max Payne 3 was linear and GTA 5 is open world, besides the point. But you can tell it's the same Rage engine, whatever. Then you get to, Red Dead 2, and I think Red Dead 2 definitely has elements to it that look like GTA 5. Certain things about the character model for Arthur remind me of Michael. So, like, we get here to this one, and it looks a little different to me. And I'm just curious if anyone else noticed that. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about this so far. And just really hoping and praying that this is a good game. Yeah, and yeah, it's a lot to take in, I guess. So I've got a lot to think about, and I've got a lot to be excited for. 2025 is the date. So yeah, that gives us some time to think. This year was crazy for gaming, like so much stuff, like Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16. What was the other thing? Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. I'm missing some. Starfield, whatever. So, like, there's tons of stuff. Oh yeah, new Assassin's Creed as well. So yeah, it never ends. But next year, I think, is going to be a little bit more quiet for gaming, it seems. So we'll see what comes out next year. But I guess mark your calendars for 2025. Get ready, because this game is going to be a big deal. And I hope it's good. I can almost guarantee that it's going to be good, at least when it comes to online stuff. If you like GTA 5 Online and that's all you really care about, you're going to get it here. Like, I'm sure it's going to be great. It might, like, have a fucked up launch where maybe it'll, like, crash and stuff like that, but chances are, like, they're not going to screw up the online any more than they already did with GTA 5. Like, if you like GTA 5 Online in its current form, you're going to like this new one, I'm sure. So, the question is, does Rockstar still have it, without their lead writer? We still got it? That's the question. So, yeah, do we still have it? We'll see. So I guess it's up to Lucia and her friend here, and this storyline we're going to see. So look forward to that, and I'll see you guys on the next one.